Good morning, everybody. It is September the 1st, 2025, Labor Day. Fun little fact. Did you know the very first U.S. Labor Day parade was held on September 5th, 1882 in New York City? And about 20,000 people gave up their day's pay just to participate. A protest, so to speak. They had banners and brass bands, and there was even beer flowing in the streets. And get this, it only took them 12 years later when our then sitting president, Grover Cleveland, signed into law the first Monday in September as a national day to honor all of the American workers and their contributions to the country's prosperity. We were on the brink of an industrial revolution. People were building our country. Immigrants were building our railroads and our uh, cities and it took them 12 years to recognize that it took actual people to do that. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, um, also during that time, the 40-hour work week was introduced. So I'm reminded of that song from Pink Floyd. Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Yeah, fun fact. Anyway, good morning. Happy Labor Day. Hopefully you're at home. But if you're not and you're at work, I want to say thank you. I do. I want to say thank you to the people that produce our power and our water and there's a list. You know, the moms and dads that are stay-at-home moms and dads, it's work. Those who are babysitting, waitresses, truck drivers, people who deliver our mail, deliver our wonderful packages from Amazon. Those kinds of things. Thank you so much. Welcome ooh, I just felt a funky energy. Yeah, anyway, welcome to Steampunk Psyche. I'm new. What can I say? Anyway, we're going to get into a reading. Hopefully, I'll get through this. My computer has been jacking with me, so. But I thought we'd try to start off with just maybe a divine feminine reading. I kind of got that energy going on. Ooh, it already showed me a card. It wants to show me judgment. You know, that can sound harsh right off the bat, but it is an active position judgment card. You know, the angel is blowing his trumpet, and those beautiful people are rising up out of the coffins, women and children who are dressed in fluffy black clothing. You know, we have to do that because the cards actually expose the nudity, and YouTube does not allow that. So it's kind of sacrilege, really, if you ask me. These cards are, you know, wonderfully built and maintained. This is the Rider Waite deck, so we're going to do that just to explain this reading. But in the first position, we got Judgment and a Judgment on a Knight of Wands in the passive position there, the second position. And the Six of Pentacles in the reversed and the Hierophant reversed. So what this kind of tells me in that first turn is the Knight of Wands is usually the romancer coming in, and you know, he's got the exploratory type energy. But this shows me that, and he's facing away from judgment. So somebody is, you know what? Before I do that, I'm just going to go in here and see what we can see on the Knight of Wands in reverse position. Oh boy. Restlessness, chaos, impatience, impulsiveness. And an imbalance here. The Six of Wands talks about, you know, the act of giving, you know, and the balance internally. And the Hierophant reverse talks about non-traditional, non-conformity. So I wish I could just pop this right off to you, but I'm not. Somebody is facing judgment right now over their imbalance, over their rebellious state. That's just all these three cards right here. Hierophant talking about non-traditionalist, non-conformity, rebellion of traditionalist ideas, which I have nothing against that. I'm personally a non-conformist. But where this Six of Pentacles in the upright would be, you know, sharing and giving and providing this type of case, spreading the wealth, so to speak. This person could be really like hoarding, like not in a non-giving way, um, and also in a state of mind that is reckless and impatient and chaotic. And the active position of this card shows that they are being judged. So if you are in this position, or if you know somebody in this position, just be aware that this is the case that's taking place. The next card talks about the Five of Cups in the reversed position. Normally, this card is talking about how um, basically you have some battles that were, boom. Boy, that threw out some cards quick. But it talks about how you are focused mainly on your losses, you know, in the upright position. But this is in the reverse position, so it seems like it could be letting go. So let's go to the card reveal here and check that out real quick. Five of Cups in the reversed talks about acceptance and healing and forgiveness and perspective, emotional recovery, moving forward, renewal, hope, releasing growth. Good word. Yeah. So, and also it's followed up by the Ten of Swords. So you put an end to some shiat. You're done with something. You've got the Eight of Swords right next to it too. This normally talks about how you're being bound to something, but now you're released. You're letting go. You're kind of getting into control of a situation, and it's followed by the Star card, which is the ultimate blessings that's coming upon you. This balance that's taking place in your, not only in your footing, gaining your ground, because one foot is on the ground, the other one is in the water, and it's symbolizing pouring out the waters in both areas, so symbolizing a good balance in your life, and that's taking place. And hey, what a better day to do this on Labor Day. Everything's coming together. So you're in this first term, we're seeing this judgment that's taking place, and somebody's put an end to something, and they're finding balance, they're getting clarity. The third turn talks about, the Two of Pentacles is what it is in both positions. It's an imbalance. You're juggling too much. I feel like this is in the past tense now here, showing in the, at one time you were juggling a lot of things, but now you're doing some introspection. The Moon card is the internal, the shadow work. Possibly you've, taken an adventure down. I'm going to read, I'm going to look and find out what's really going on with me. Uh, and confirmed by the Queen of Cups, which is also the mystery. The Queen is the she's the ultimate dealer of intuition, mystery, insight. And I feel like maybe these two things are taking place. Whereas down here, you've kind of had a little bit of an avoidance scenario. The Four of Swords really, the three swords that are hanging on the wall here represent things of the past that you've overcome, and now you've got a main focus. You're laying on top of this sword down below here, so you're really focused on one thing right now, which is okay. But the Four of Swords in the reversed position, let's look at that real quick. Four of Swords in the reversed, if I can get it to show up. Yep. Exhausted. It's making you exhausted, and that will happen. When you start to do introspection, doing that deep work, that shadow work, it can make you feel tired, stressed out, because you're facing things that really, they're in the past. They hurt, and it seems to me with this Hierophant the Hierophant is the balance of those shadows, but it's in a reverse position. So at one time you were kind of rebelling. It looks like you walked away from that and getting rest, recovery. You put it into something, and you're moving forward in balance. And this introspection that you've done. Let me show you that Two of Pentacles in the reversed here real quick. Yeah, this imbalance causes that, that tired. Um, yes, get back up there. Yeah, neglect of yourself, poor prioritization, chaos, stress, inflexibility. Yeah, those are just normal things. I mean, I know it can sound really bad, but I don't feel like it is. I feel like that deep introspection work, which you saw right here, that moon card is all about that. You could be, going through an awakening of some kind, a spiritual awakening, where you were at one time in the Hierophant upright, more traditionally speaking. And a lot of this chaos has brought about a new way of thinking. So you've kind of put an end to this, the Hierophant in the upright, and embraced that nonconformist view, which is setting your scales unbalanced, and you're not really like stable at the moment. No big deal. Rest, recovery, recoup, eat good, get some good sleep, and Page of Wands. Page of Wands is kind of the chicka wow wow of the deck. Look how he's dressed. It's all pimped out, feather in the hat. Got exploration on the mind. I have a naked lady standing behind me now. She doesn't realize I'm recording. Yes, I am. But Chicka Wow Wow has to make a decision. And this is the second time he didn't have to go. This is the second time I've got to crush this recording. Actually, I'm going to keep going. Why not? This is good stuff. Anyway, the page here could be talking about a younger person. It doesn't have to be the case, but usually the page is indicative of a young person. So a young person making a choice. In this case, we're going to suggest that maybe this is a young woman because, and it doesn't have to be that, and I know this is a male figure on here, but it's the page, and the Page of Wands. It doesn't say the male of Wands, but I kind of am leaning towards that. So there's a choice that needs to be made. When the Emperor sits in that third position like that, the Emperor is stable. He's the epitome of stability. He's a little brash, a little harsh, but the thing of it is he's very stable. So maybe there's a choice about this. Could be a father figure. And I say that because it's followed up by the Six of Cups, which usually talks about, childhood. It talks about remembering when you're young, those nostalgia, memories of things. But there could also be a situation where there's a choice about she's moving forward to this Emperor because there's some nostalgia. Maybe there's somebody that she likes or, wants to get to know, or, that kind of thing. I'm curious now because this is a lot better read than the earlier one. What are we looking at here? Who is this? Yeah, Five of Pentacles in the reversed position. Six of Wands. I like to see that. That's good. Five of Pentacles in the reversed position. Yeah. The Five of Wands. Ooh, when we got fives together like that. Okay, let me keep going. Hang on. The Five of Pentacles in the upright position normally is talking about, not seeking help. Kind of in that begging, starvation kind of, and that doesn't necessarily mean for food. It's just starvation for, attention, starvation for, um, recognition or things like that as well, but not seeking help, kind of in a destitute state of mind. In the reversed position, um, the Five of Pentacles talks about recovery, hope, and improvement, and that kind of is supported by overcoming struggles. So we could be talking about financial, we could be talking about maybe healing from addiction or whatever, rebuilding something. Um, yeah, but we saw that earlier in the read too. So in the second turns down here, um, down here in the bottom turns, we talked about some healing and some more growth and moving away from a situation, putting an end to it, rest and recovery. So those are all good signs. And then the Six of Wands also talks about that. You see all these wands right here. These are all victories, celebrating victories of some things. So maybe this person is in a celebratory state now. So, um, but but right next to it in that same energy, there is this Five of Swords. The Five of Swords normally in the upright talks about a chaos state. It's kind of like what I got to do to win, no matter what. No matter what the cost, I'm going to come out of this winning. But do you really win? You get that feeling that, have I really won? And that's when it's in the upright position. But this time, the Five of Swords is in the reversed position. So let's look at that. The Five of Swords. So Five of Swords talks about reconciliation, compromise, resolution, regret, letting go, learning from mistakes. So it's more healing. So whoever this is for, that is awesome. I'm glad to see that. Um, However, in the hell, why in the hell is the Seven of Swords showing up? This is kind of what I just said earlier about the Five of Swords and the upright. It's winning at what costs. And then it's followed by, where this is overcoming something, and we've seen it followed by this Six of Wands, which is also good, celebration and victory. You're followed at the end here. The very last turn is, but there's still something lacking here in this situation that is a little bit of a sneaky. You see, he's walking away with these swords, and he's leaving a couple saying, "I'm gonna do this for vindictive reasons, or just to spite somebody." So there's some energy involved here that's spiteful, and maybe this is part of a relationship that that you're trying to celebrate, but there's somebody just like nagging at your ankles here. There's a Page of Pentacles, okay, and the page talks about a new beginning in establishing yourself. So you're trying to get established in something, and you got this nagging, little mosquito, little gnat back here that's just messing with you. Oof. Possibly a lover's scenario, a relationship that you've looked at, and it's caused kind of a Queen of Swords reversed position, where you felt like you need to move away from before, but you didn't. Um, so we have the page that talks about new beginnings in something. Could be financial, could be relationship. It's followed up by the Lovers, which we want to see that in the upright position. And you think the Lovers in the reverse position, but something stagnant. So there may have been a possibility of a relationship that could have taken place, but it didn't because you were in another state of mind. And like I said, this Two of Swords over here, there's this romancer, and you're having a decision. Do I move forward to this guy or to this gal or whatever? Because I'm getting goo-goo feelings, little bubbly butterflies and blah, blah, blah. But, and it could be a new possibility, but I'm not sure if, because of the Queen of Swords talks, she's the major communication, she can speak well, she can deliver a message, and she's looking right at the Lovers. But maybe this is indicative that I'm not sure, is this relationship still available? Did I move away in time? I don't know. I want to see. Do you move forward? Do you not move forward? Is the question. Oh, mercy. Where are we? Okay. So, reverse position cards, you gotta love them. They do tell a story. I've got 78 upright, 78 in the reverse position, so I have hotkeys assigned to all of these explanation cards. And so when you hear me typing around on a computer, that's what I'm doing, is trying to go through these cards for you. The Seven of Wands in the reversed position. In the upright position, the Seven of Wands talks about all of these battles. You see all the wands that are, it's kind of upside down, but you can see the wands sticking in the ground there, and it's talking about, your victories. But you're having to guard your victories. You're so being very guarded about something. But let me look at the Seven of Wands in the reversed position, and talks about overwhelmed, or given up, defeated, vulnerability, hesitation, resistant, and doubt. In this particular case, I'm thinking that there's maybe, like I said, you don't know if too much time has passed by, if you didn't move quick enough out of those rough waters that you were in, towards this person, and you may be feeling a little vulnerable. You may be feeling like, well, here's this Knight of Wands. I have this Page of Pentacles opportunity. I'd like to present something to this relationship that, I didn't really communicate about because I was stuck in something and I don't know whether or not to move forward. And here again, you're kind of like in this vulnerable state. What do I do? This Knight of Pentacles normally is the, hey, I'm focused, I'm logical minded. When I make a plan, I go for it. But now you're kind of unsure. What do I still move forward? Do I not? In the Eight of Wands talks about something or someone coming in fast. Um, in this case, let me get an idea about what might be coming in. So we'll look at the Eight of Wands, and that is Eight of Wands. Let's look at that real quick. Eight of Wands: speed, momentum, communication, creativity, ambition, action, or growth. That didn't really give me a whole lot to go with, just other than we know something's coming in fast. So some communication coming in, some action, like should you take action now? Where normally you would want to see the Hanged Man in the upright, because we always need to introspect, and that the Hanged Man is the epitome of uh, interior, look inside. But this time the Hanged Man is in the reverse position. So we're going to talk about the Hanged Man in the reverse position. So let's look at that. Reveal it. Delays, resistance, stagnation, indecision, hesitant, avoidance, fear of change, and a disconnect. So there could be a definite disconnect in this situation, obviously, because it was verified by this Queen of Swords, this lack of communication, this Lover's upside down or reversed, and you're not sure. So, but then you're followed up by the Magician, and the Magician is the very beginning. You know, it is the boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Let's see one more card. Yeah, then the Nine of Pentacles reversed, then Justice reversed, and the Queen of Wands. Okay. So the Magician, as above, so below. And what does that mean for us here? You notice that the cups are prevalent on the table, the sign of water, purity, let's get to the bottom of this. And you've been having a lot of introspection. You've moved out of that phase and put an end that we saw in the very beginning of the read. You put an end to some things. And now you've got the Magician standing at the very dominant position. And let me see here. The Nine of Pentacles. The Magician holds every one of them. You see, he's got pentacles, he's got cups, he's got wands, and swords all on the table. So this is definitely about a relationship, and the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, she is um, the diva. She's got it all. She's got nine of these pentacles, but she's lacking because there's one pentacle that she needs, or that she's thinking about. She's upside down, maybe um, in this decision-making process that could finish her off with a complete 10, if you get my drift. Um, she's very grounded. She's an earth sign, and but she's not grounded in this situation. Followed by justice in the reversed. Justice is just what it says. She feels like there's hopeless, maybe, a situation where she's not quite sure how to maneuver. And then it's followed by the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is that black cat energy, mystery. There's a mystery about this, uncertain. Queen of Swords, non-communication, also maybe a little bit of avoidant. Emotional avoidant will keep you from talking, from speaking. Let's continue on. I'm curious now. I got to know what's going to happen to this relationship. Ace of Cups, the offering's not coming in. We haven't spoken. I've been a little bit clinging on to could be my finances. I've been a bit clingy to my own emotional avoidancy. Could be I'm clinging on to old ways. We saw the Hierophant in reversed, a little bit of traditionality, the rebellious state of mind, kind of doing that cycle. We did see the cycles moving around. Where was that at? Down here. Yeah, yeah, it could be that. Um, what's the advice here? Page of Cups with no offering coming in. Page of Cups, normally the upright is an offering. It's youthful, energetic, but you've let that go. And you're no longer letting it bother you because the Nine of Swords is in the reversed. The Devil, you've just let it go. Maybe you're leaving that behind. You've realized, whoever this is, give yourself a pat on the back. I feel like even though your Hanged Man is in the reversed position, um, but you've got the Magician, so I feel like there's a spiritual awakening that's showing you everything. You're really seeing the light. I've finally seen the light. So, oh man, Ace of Pentacles in the reversed. Yeah, still there's still an offering that's not coming in, or maybe you feel like someone or something should come towards you, but it's not, and you're debating on whether or not you should travel to it. You've got so you got some victories behind you here, and you're going, I can do this. I can move forward. Will you move forward? That is the question. Or are you just going to stay stagnant? King of Swords and the Seven of Cups. Lovely. So the King of Swords is like the Queen of Swords in a way, but the King of Swords is still now in this reverse position. It's kind of this tyrannous thing. I think that's what that's represented of. Let me look at that just to make sure. Um, yeah, manipulation, tyranny, abuse of power, coldness, rigidity. Yeah, some more of that cycle coming back around again. To haunt you every time you try to move forward. There's this haunting feeling, and it's forcing you into these choices again. That cycle. You know what? The Seven of Cups, really, if you dig into all of these cups, all the mysteries, there's the temptation side, of course, and then there's also, the human side and all these choices that you have. It's just a cycle, and I think you're seeing this cycle continue to go over and around and around and around. Hmm. Yeah, choices. That's what you do. You put your hands to your chin and go, what do I do? I say move away from this King of Swords, take the tower, and heal your heart. That could not have come out any better. That is the message right there. Yes, you have lots of choices. And yes, these choices could lead to this moment of tower. Okay. In tarot, this is the perfect three cards to show right here. And I'm going to end it on this because I think this just proves my point. Yes, you have been healing. You have gone through this unconventional, rebellious state. Your eyes have been opened. You're seeing the magician here that could show, already intuitively because you're followed with the Queen of Wands and the magician at the top, the Queen of Wands at the bottom. You're surrounded by your own knowing. You are healing. You're moving forward. And yes, now you have choices. Will those choices lead to a tower? Yes, they could. But ultimately, it also leads to healing of the heart. So that is my take. And I like I said, I don't think I want to go any further. That's the most perfect blend of cards in the end right there. Look, we all go through tower moments. It happens. If you don't follow your intuition, you're going to continue to break your heart. You've got to, regardless of the consequences, regardless of circumstances around you. Everything is transition. Everything's just a cycle, and you've always got to look inward and be you. Give yourself a hug. You're doing good. Anyway, I hope you liked this. I know it takes a little bit to go through the cards, and I'm kind of a little bit slow, but I like to take my time and read through them, and if I can get pick up some kind of energy about it. But if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel and help me grow, that would be great. Leave comments, negative, good, it doesn't matter, any one of them. So happy Labor Day, and I guess I'll see you on the next one.